Hello, students. Today we'll do the chapter 5 of First Flight, book First Flight, The Hundred Races, part 1. There are two parts of this chapter. This is the part 1, chapter 5. This story is written by L. Sor Easter. And this story we'll get to know that we'll find that racial discrimination and discrimination because of poverty. So, what are the things which we'll get in this chapter? How do we judge the people around us by their money, wealth, and possessions? Or is there something of more enduring value to look for in a person? So, we judge people because of their wealth, their possessions, and their money. Okay. After reading this story, we might change our mindset. This story is a sensitive account of how a poor young girl is judged by her classmates. Vanda Petronsky. This story is about a Vanda Petronsky. She is a young Polish girl who goes to school with her American children in an American town. These other children see Vanda as different in many ways. Okay? And we'll find out in this chapter that how she was different from these American children and why they were looking her in a different way. There is a bit description about these Polish community, the Polish American community in the United States. This is also important to know before reading the story, before going through the story. The first Polish immigrants arrived in America in 1608, but the largest wave of Polish immigration occurred in the early 20th century. So the first one who arrived in America in 1608, but in early 20th century, these people immigrated here. This was nearly maybe because of First World War and maybe because of the wars which were going on in Europe for colonies. When more than 1 million Poles migrated to the United States. So at that time, more than 1 million Polish people migrated to the United States. The Polish state did not exist at that time, and the immigrants were identified according to their country of origin rather than to ethnicity. So there was no separate Polish country at that time. They were living in different countries. So that is why their identity was because of their country, like Russian Poles, German Poles, and Austrian Poles. So, one of the most notable Polish American communities is in Chicago and its suburbs. So, Chicago is sometimes called the second largest Polish city in the world. Chicago is even now the second largest Polish city in the world, next only to Warsaw. Warsaw, the capital of Poland. Warsaw is the capital of Poland. So, these people belong to Poland. Polish Americans were sometimes discriminated against in the United States, as were the Irish, Italians, and Jews. As there is racial discrimination everywhere, so in United States also there is racial discrimination for Polish Americans, Irish people, Italians, and Jews also. According to the United States 2000 census, okay, uh, 6,67,414 Americans of age 5 years and older reported Polish as the language spoken at home. So this is the population according to 2000 census of Polish Americans, which is about 1.4% of the people who speak languages other than English, or 0.25% of the US population. So this is the background of Polish people in America. Okay, now let's start this story. Today, Monday, Wanda Pentronsky was not in her seat, but nobody, not even Peggy and Madeline, the girls who started all the fun, noticed her absence. Usually, Wanda sat in the seat next to the last seat in the last row in room 13. So, this is the room 13 where Wanda Pentronsky study, and there are two girls, Maddie and Peggy. She sat in the corner of the room where the rough boys who did not make good marks sat. The corner of the room where there was most shuffling of feet, most roars of laughter when anything funny was said, and most mud and dirt on the floor. Generally, the students who are not good at studies, they go and sit at the last bench so that the teacher should not notice them what they are doing. And a lot of noises generally comes from those last benches. So this girl Venda, she also used to sit in last benches. Venda did not sit there because she was rough and noisy, but here the reason was something different. She was not sitting there because she was rough and noisy. On the contrary, she was very quiet and rarely said anything at all, and nobody had ever heard her laugh out loud. Sometimes she twisted her mouth into a crooked sort of smile, but that was all. So she was very quiet, very decent girl. But then, even then, why she was sitting there? Nobody knew exactly why Vanda sat in that seat, unless it was because she came all the way from Boggins Heights, and her feet were usually caked with dry mud. But no one really thought much about Wanda Pentronsky when she sat in the corner of the room. So nobody bothers about Wanda Pentronsky. Belongs to Boggins Heights. Boggins Heights is a place where all those Polish Americans were living. The time when they thought about Wanda was outside of school hours at noon time, when they were coming back to school or in the morning early before school began. So both at both the time before school began and when they coming back from school, when groups of two or three or even more would be talking and laughing on their way to the schoolyard. Then sometimes they waited for Vanda to have fun with her. So they only waited for Vanda to have fun with her, to tease her. The next day, Tuesday, Vanda was not in school either, and nobody noticed her absence again. So she was not such kind of girl who has lot of friends in the school. So nobody noticed her when she was absent on Tuesday. But on Wednesday, Peggy and Maddie, who sat down front with other children who got good marks and who didn't track in a whole lot of mud, did notice that Vanda wasn't there. So these two girls, Peggy and Maddie, were just sitting before Vanda when there wasn't any mud on the floor because of the Vanda when she used to come. So because of her, there was mud on the floor, but today there wasn't any mud on the floor. So they noticed that she was absent. Okay. There, Peggy was the most popular girl in the school. She was pretty, she had many pretty clothes, and her hair was curly. Maddie was her closest friend. The reason Peggy and Maddie noticed Vanda's absence was because Vanda had made them late to school. Okay. The reason why they noticed because she made them late to school. They had waited for Vanda to have some fun with her. These two girls waited for Vanda just to want to make fun with her, and she just hadn't come. They often waited for Vanda Pentronsky to have fun with her. And so this was their general routine. They always waited Vanda to have fun with her. So on that day, on Tuesday, she didn't come. That is why they noticed her. that she did not come. Wanda Pentronsky, most of the children in room 13 didn't have names like that. They had names easy to say, like Thomas, Smith, or Alan. So this was a different name. This was different name apart from other children. Wanda Pentronsky. There was one boy named Bounce, Woolly Bounce, and people thought that was funny, but not funny in the same way that Pentronsky was. So there was one boy with the name Bounce that was funny, but Pentronsky is rather more funny than Bounce. What people thought about it. Vanda didn't have any friends. She came to school alone and went home alone. She did not have any friend. She always wore a faded blue dress that did not hang right. It was clean, but it looked as though it had never been ironed properly. She had only one blue dress, and she never got any time to iron it because that was the only dress which she has to wear it. It was clean, okay. She didn't have any friends, but a lot of girls talked to her. And why these girls talked to her? Sometimes they surrounded her in the schoolyard as she stood watching the little girls play hopscotch on the worn hard ground. What is this hopscotch? This is a game in which children hop into and over squares marked on the ground. Okay. So these little girls surround this girl. Why? Wenda, Peggy would say in a most courteous manner, as though she were talking to Miss Mason. Wenda, she would say, giving one of her friends a nudge, tell us, how many dresses did you say you had hanging up in your closet? So they used to make fun of this girl. These girls surrounded her and then they used to make fun of her. Why? They used to ask one question, and that question is, how many dresses did you say you had hanging up in your closet? And she said, 100, Wenda would say. 100, exclaimed all the little girls incredulously, and the little ones would stop playing hopscotch and listen. And those little girls who used to play hopscotch nearby that place, they also started listening to her about 100 dresses. Yeah, 100, all lined up, said Wenda. Then her thin lips drew together in silence. What are they like? All silk, I bet, said Peggy. Yeah, all silk, all colors. Velvet too. Yeah, velvet too. 100 dresses. Vanda would repeat stolidly, all lined up in my closet. Then they would let her go. And then before she would gone very far, they couldn't help bursting into shrieks and peals of laughter. So this is the way how they used to make fun of her. And after leaving her that place, they started laughing on her because they knew that she only wear just one dress, one that blue dress, and she says that she has that 100 dresses. 100 dresses obviously. The only dress Vanda had was the blue one she wore every day. So why did she say she had 100? What a story. How many shoes did you say you had? 60 pairs, all lined up in my closet. Cries of exaggerated politeness greeted this, all alike. Okay, so they are just making fun of her by saying all such kind of things like they are making copy of her. How many shoes did you say you had? 60 pairs, all lined up in my closet. Oh no, every pair is different, all colors, all lined up. Peggy, you had thought up this game, and Maddie, her inseparable friend were always the last to leave. So this game is started by this girl Peggy, and she had one friend Maddie, who she was always there with Peggy. Finally, Wanda would move up the street, her eyes dull and her mouth closed, hitching her left shoulder every now and then in the funny way she had, finishing the walk to school alone. And then when Wanda, in such a manner, leave the place, and she goes, but she is not feeling so much comfortable at that time. She never felt so much comfortable because she understood that these girls are making fun of her. And when she left the place, just by her walk, anybody can judge. Because of that, the way she walked her soldiers, hitching her left shoulder every now and then, this shows that she was not feeling comfortable. Peggy was not really cruel. She protected small children from bullies, and she cried for hours if she saw an animal mistreated. If anybody had said to her, "Don't you think that is a cruel way to treat Wanda?" she would have been very surprised. Cruel. Okay, this is about Peggy. Peggy, a brief description. She was also not cruel girl. She has also kind heart for the small children. She always saved her, protected her from bullies, and she also felt bad whenever anybody would mistreat animals. And if anybody would have said her that, "Don't you think that is a cruel way to treat Vanda?" she would be surprised when she would listen this word cruel. What did the girl say? She had 100 dresses. Anybody could tell that she was a lie. That was a lie. Why did she want to lie? And she wasn't just an ordinary person. Else, why did she have a name like that? Anyway, they never made her cry. But they were just only making fun of her and they thought that they had never made her cry. So they were thinking that this is not too bad with her. They are not doing any harm to her. They are just making fun of her. As for Maddie, this business was asking Venda every day how many dresses and how many hats and how many this and that she had was bothering her. Maddie was poor herself. She usually wore some days somebody's hand me down clothes. Thank goodness she didn't live up on Boggins Heights or have a funny name. So so this girl Maddie, she was also poor and she also used to wear only those second hand clothes. But she was not living in Boggins Heights, and there is fear in her mind also that if she would be living in Boggins Heights, so the condition of her was also exactly like Vanda. Sometimes when Peggy was asking Vanda those questions in that mocking polite voice, Maddie felt embarrassed and studied the marbles in the palm of her hand, rolling them around and saying nothing herself. So Maddie, she was also not feeling so good when Peggy was making fun of Vanda. She used to feel embarrassed. Why? Because she was also poor. But she was not showing that she was poor. Not that she felt sorry for Vanda. This is not for why she was feeling embarrassed. This is not for she was feeling sorry for Vanda exactly. She would never have paid any attention to Vanda if Peggy hadn't invented the dresses game. But suppose Peggy and all the others started in on her next. She is feeling embarrassed because she is thinking that after Vanda, if Peggy and all other girls May started playing the same games, same such games with Maddie. She wasn't as poor as Vanda, perhaps, but she was poor. Of course, she would have more sense than to say she had 100 dresses. But definitely, she would never say that she has 100 dresses because she has sense, more sense than Vanda. Still, she would not like for them to begin on her. But even then, she never wanted that such games should be played on her. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Wanda Pentronsky, and she wanted that these girls should stop teasing her. Okay, we'll do the rest of the chapter on the next video. Okay.